Hi friends, it's Nancy and I'm here to do a flip through of these two little journals for all ready for Christmas. They are in a traveler's notebook sort of style, a little bigger than a traveler's notebook, and perfect if you are going to be doing a December daily. So let's get started with pink. If you've been a follower of mine for a while, you know traditionally I do a pink Christmas journal. So I've just got it closed here with this sari silk, and you can see that there's lots of fabrics, textiles, lace, and these charms. The cover is created from scrapbook paper that is doubled up with, well, you'll see that on the inside. I have some pink dyed, I think it's tracing paper probably. Gotta make sure I'm in camera this time. That I've edged with a little bit of gilding wax, added a few brads, and then supported the spine with a little bit of extra lace, and I've got things falling out. So let's get started. So the inside of this journal, I have used a piece of vintage, move you over, Christmas Carol paper. This is actually the box from a box of vintage Christmas cards, and I just cut it to make a journaling spot, and I love that the pink is a good match. This is also some vintage Christmas Carol book. This I had this as a child. I remember it vividly. I'm just going to take that off. I think this was by Golden Book actually, but it was a soft cover, and the cover was pink and had carolers on it. But this one has some really pretty pastel images. Got this vintage Christmas card with a little pink house there from Hank and Mary. Put that paper clip back on. This envelope is from 1936, and it flips open, and there's something missing. Oh no, there, got a little card there. This is an image that was cut from a book, backed with paper, and it even has 1936. Is that the Long Association, or what is that? March of Dimes? I have no idea, but it's some kind of Christmas seal. Anyway, a little bit of fabric here and some trim. This came from a vintage Christmas card. I backed it with some paper. Little image here, some kids on Christmas morning. This came from a small Christmas Carol book with pink images. This is some avocado dyed paper, and on this side I've created a tuck spot. It can open right up. This is from a book. I backed it with some pink paper. But this collage is a holy card. This is a gift tag. I think that's Tim. This might be Tim Holtz. These are cut from books, and that candy decoration there, or catalog images from a book. Okay, this is a first day cover from 1971. A little pink snowflake there, a snowflake on pink background, and I've cut it open so that journaling can happen there. This image is from an Ideals magazine, lots of little elves dressed in pink. And there's the man himself. Here's some vintage trim. It's got this metallic silver design woven into it. And this snowflake is a little different. This one is a Tim Holtz snowflake with the little diamantes. I think these came out last year. Here's an invoice from 1930. This is a Tim Holtz, but I've used it to make a tuck spot there. This is a vintage scorecard for progressive euchre. Is euchre a Canadian thing? I never hear about Americans playing euchre. You'll let me know. Some fabric and lace on a vintage piece of music manuscript paper. This is an invoice from 1920s, and it has pink lines there. And what's more special about this is it's actually an order for Christmas merchandise. I'll show you that when we get to the other side. Got a little flip up. This is a postcard that's a reproduction. It says a reproduction from 1909. More avocado dyed paper. And I've done a little fabric flip here. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 different textiles. Fabric, this picot edged grosgrain ribbon. This is a piece cut from a vintage souvenir handkerchief. It says Souvenir of Italy on it. Painted. Some lace, some eyelet. This came from vintage Christmas Carol book. This is an image from an Ideals magazine, page from an Ideals magazine. I love this with the dark pink background and the fluffy, cottony snow and these matchstick, almost thin candles. On this side, I have a large book that's just about snowflakes. So I cut a snowflake image out, backed it with some paper, and made a tuck spot out of it, layered in a little bit of this lace. And I made this tag. It's a double journaling card, actually. I used a brad to make it movable, and a little bit of this polka dot tulle. Another beautiful image from an Ideals magazine with these pink striped candy canes. Some more lace and fabric. On this side, I made a pocket from an image from a book. This is a guest check. I backed it with some pink paper, added a little lace, and this is an image I cut from a Somerset Studio magazine, an old one. This image came from a book. I backed it onto some paper. Another charm. This is another book image, backed with paper. Here, this is from a vintage greeting card. And I made this tag from some scrap paper. This flips open, a little bit of trim here, and there's 5 or 6 sheets of this paper that's printed with lace. Is there anything cuter than Rick Rack? This is an image from an Ideals magazine, but I decorated it up with a little bit of Nouveau crystal drops, added some vintage tatting, and put this card in. This is from the cut aparts for this paper pack. This is a double tag. Here's another one of those snowflakes. So this tag just flips open, and then I stuck this part underneath, and a book image, some vintage lace, Some more of that polka dot, pink polka dot tulle. This little mitten I made myself from a cutter quilt, and I just glued it using some fabric glue on the 3 points to make a pocket. This is a tag that I made using scrapbook paper, added some die cuts, and this image from a book. A little bit of seam binding up there. A little cluster that I made. Some more of that handkerchief. This is lace from a 1940s wedding gown. This is a vintage gift tag. And I added on a little bit of hand crocheted lace and seam binding. So that flips open. This is reproduction Christmas card. And here on this side you'll see that this was an order for whistles and rattles and banks and dolls and dominoes and bells and balls. The Lost Air card game, Snap, Tiddlywinks, teddy bears, all kinds of Christmas stock. This is a fabric pocket. Now I've used this gingham fabric throughout the book. Let me just bring it up a little closer. Maybe you can see that it has some metallic dots there. Give it a little shimmer. As well as rickrack and some sequins. This is a book page from a ladybird book. I've backed it with some lined paper for journaling. It just tucks in there. Some lined paper. That's the back of that first day cover. Added a lace up tuck here, stitched some lace there. This came from a Christmas card. I just trimmed it down a bit so that it would fit. The other side of that Christmas carol. This is a vintage Christmas card. Wow. I glued it together to give it some stiffness. But if we take that off, this comes right open. It can be glued down, but I sort of liked having the extra white paper there. Here's the back of that vintage carol book. I just tied a little bit of seam binding up there. And this is some lace I stitched down. Made this little cluster from a vintage gift tag and some lace. And here's another little tag that I made. And that's the end of that journal. Let's start on the blue one. So again, I'm using some scrapbook paper, which is doubled up with some vintage Christmas carol music to give it strength. I've stitched all the way around the cover, and this is, I believe, is Tim Holtz. I added some Nouveau crystal drops. Nouveau crystal drops? Yeah. This is some trim. Kind of looks like tinsel or maybe an aluminum tree. Inside, I have this tag that I made. I fussy cut some Ideals magazine images to layer on there. Here's that vintage Christmas carol book and a vintage greeting card. And it opens up, so there's lots of opportunity for journaling in there. This tag, I have this fabric with little blue dots. These are cut aparts from the paper pack. I just inked them up and glued them. This little envelope is from 1910, and it opens up, and inside there's a little poem that I made into a card. This is from an Ideals magazine, and I just glued on some die cut snowflakes. Oops. Added some fabric here, a little bit of lace. This is an image cut from a book. Little Christmas Carol book. Oop. Where'd that come from? I think all of these are, so far, they're all intact. I must have dropped that in there or something. So I have this paper is dyed with purple cabbage. It flips open. This is a reproduction Christmas card. And with this is, I think this is Tim Holtz. This is a genuine florist card. And the image came from a book, and I added a little bit of tatting. Here we have first day issue from 1971. This is Ideals magazine. Some silvery trim with Tim Holtz snowflake there with the little diamantes. This is a 1930s invoice, and this is a Tim Holtz ephemera with progressive euchre scorecard. I like this fabric here. It looks like it's a knitted sweater. A little bit of lace that's stitched on. And this is from December 10th, 1925. And here, this is from a greeting card. Some more purple cabbage dyed paper. And here I have a whole bunch of lace. So blue and white, and then this blue, and then this fabric that has very sheer with blue polka dots, some more blue and white, and this kind of turquoisey, and then these fabric roses. Vintage Christmas Carol, A Silent Night. Somebody must have done a good job because they got a gold star. Image from Ideals magazine. And I actually had 2 pages like this, so I fussy cut the second one and layered it on top, and then made this tag and just tucked it right in there. Ideals magazine, sequins and fabric and lace, and some more sequins on that side. Fabric. This is a Christmas card. It's got some embossing down here, some roses, and journaling card that I made. This is a genuine photo of this lady after a very heavy snowfall. Nothing on the back. And on this side, another vintage Christmas card. I cut it down a bit because the edges were really, yeah. So it, yeah, with love, Francis, Fred, and somebody got a little cut off. Okay. This is from a vintage Christmas card, and I stitched it on there, made this little tag, added some stickles to the snowflake to give it some shimmer. This is fussy cut from an Ideals magazine. I just love this. This flips out. Some lace and this paper that's printed with like this lace design on blue. This also comes from Ideals magazine. It's just a strip, but I added some Nouveau crystal drops to give some shimmer to the star. Actually, the paper itself has some metallic sparkle to it too. I believe this is Timmy. Not 100% sure. I backed it with some vintage lined paper, so there's place to journal, and a little bit of vintage lace. This is from Christmas card, and this one opens up. And again, I fussy cut that little mitten that I made from cutter quilt. Another tag with this sparkly tulle. This also is from fussy cut from a Ideals magazine. I added a whole bunch of iridescent sequins there. Opens up. This is from 1929, and it's an empty envelope. So you can open it up and use it for journaling or however you want to use it. This is a little cluster that I made using several layers of lace, and this is a vintage sticker, a little bit of seam binding. This is a reproduction Christmas postcard. A fabric pocket. I added this trim and adhered some iridescent sequins. This is a genuine vintage Christmas card. Just tuck that in there. Some lined paper. I just added a little bit of die cut snowflake to the edge. Ideals magazine. That's the back of that first J cover. Another vintage Christmas card. Tuck it up in this lace pocket. Christmas carol music. This is a cut apart from the paper pack. I just backed it with some other paper. This, of course, flips open. Added a little bit of tulle up there. This is 2 layers of trim. So in the back is this blue with white polka dots eyelet lace, and then this other lace on top. And I made this tag, added some stickles to give it a little bit of shimmer and shine. And well, shepherds watched. And that's the blue one. So let's talk about this for a minute. I'm listing these in Etsy. If you're watching this video, you can go over to Etsy right now, see if it still is available. I mentioned that I was closing my store because of the postal strike, but Etsy has sped up a partnership with another shipping service that is available to me. So these journals will be sent by that courier, and I might take me a minute and a half to figure it all out because it'll be my first time using it, but I feel pretty good about it. So go on over, take a look. You don't have to be concerned that it's going to take 2 months to get it because of the postal strike. Should arrive within a few days and just in time for December daily, if that's something that you're thinking about doing this year. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these flip-throughs. You take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.